Are you all done?
Yeah. I want to see.
This is so stupid.
From the inside of my corpse, 30 seconds like a century. Imprisoned in necrotic flesh, cognizant beyond my death. Paralyzed and frozen in its carnal penitentiary. Lucidly projecting hellish specters, ghoulish architecture. Enveloped in a darkness far beyond my mind can measure. Suffocating violent pressure, it just goes on forever. Are these electromagnetic hallucinations? Is this everybody's afterlife or something I've created? Abandoned and dismissed in a flaccid impotence, with the cold illumination that I no longer exist. In the grave within a grave, it was the first time I prayed. No one here to tell me that I shouldn't be afraid.
I should have never promised that, Iceberg.
Wait, that was the script?
Kronos' poem probably is the best way to put all of Solid in a nutshell. It just describes it so perfectly. From the humor to the characters and the constant contrast between the happy and the dark or macabre. And also all the unfunny yet nostalgic bits. All the memes that spammed in the ancient internet of 2011. And all the other shit that's arrived till this day. Like people projecting their niche interest and musical abominations onto it. I am not calling anybody out. But if you don't know that, guess this iceberg is for you. And if you do know that, this iceberg really is for you. I guess I would just say spoiler warnings and shit, but if you're mad enough to watch this Soul Eater icebergs or any other iceberg, you're already down enough into madness to not care anymore. But just in case. So let's finally start with layer 1. The one you have to be born on the moon to not know, or fall from the moon. I really hope this idiom makes sense in English. The moon. The sun and the moon. Everybody knows them, probably even people that don't know the show exists. It's just such iconic iconography. Brings people back to nostalgia of drawing the moon with a little smile, or the sun just cackling around. I mean, do people do that? I don't know. But it isn't just a childish thing. Drawing moons and suns as faces. I mean, even the Teletubbies did it. But even going back to medieval art, you can find more than a few weird drawings of the moon, some even leading people to believe in ancient aliens. Even as kids, I mean, I remember at least drawing a smile on the sun. I mean, who didn't? But still, the funny thing is, it doesn't really bring such happy memories to many people now. I mean, the Soul Eater moon is one of the things people always bring up as why Soul Eater is so creepy. I mean, yeah, it's like dripping blood and it's looking evilly at you. Still, there's a lot under the surface with it all. Not just the moon, but also the sun, which is strangely lacking in this layer. I wonder if that's gonna pay off in some way. The point is, it will just connect with so many things. I don't even want to spoil. So, I will keep them for later entries and even layers. But one thing I can share, make a tangent because I don't know where to put it else, is the fact that it's not just the moon. I mean, many people see Soul Eater as, oh, it's this creepy show. It's just so dark, it has this macabre imagery. There's all these references that will get explained later too. But I think the fact is, Soul Eater isn't just like some crazy mad moon just laughing at the absurdity, at the horror of life. It's also the sun that triumphantly cackles, not with mockery, but with this joy, with this pride in life, love and everything. I think that's why I sometimes think it's reductive to describe Soul Eater as just like a dark show or a show about horror. I mean, it's not really. When I watched it when I was 13, I didn't have any nightmares. I had nightmares after watching Wallace and Gromit with that werewolf thing or something, man, that fucked me up. But nah, never saw it. But you know what I mean, do you? I mean, I hope. Because people say even things like that the anime adaptation actually did a mistake by having a bright sky, being so colorful and not all dark all the time. I'm not gonna bring up the video that claimed this, but I think it's even more common than just one person. ICEBERG maybe in a way will reveal why this view is reductive. I mean, it's always two sides to things. It's not just evil moon, or the sun isn't just like a black hole sun that sucks everything nice in. I think this view is a bit, you know, too pessimistic. And, you know, Soul Eater at the end is not a show about pessimism, about nihilism, about even madness or craziness, but it's a show about courage. So, of course, it's undeniable that the moon is very important. The Soul Eater is a franchise, for a better lack of a word. Just the fact that Black Paper Moon is literally in the name of that intro song. That one is probably one of the most famous ones. So, yeah. The manga. So just watching this video, I assume that you at least heard about the cartoon. But I would be very surprised if most of you also don't know that it started as a little comic book. I hope people don't get offended that I call Japanese comics and not especially. Of course, I could just give you the whole spiel of reading back Wikipedia.
Oh, did you know it was started in 2004?
I mean, I don't know, do people actually remember things like that? Like when you watch these ICEBERG videos and they start listing off dates and numbers and it just goes through 1 year in, 1 year out, as they say. So I better try giving my experience of it. Okay, some biographical details may be important. It was a serious start by Sushi Okubo, whoever you pronounce it. So some of his life details will come up later, and will explain some other things that will make the manga more logical, but just for this moment. But what is crucial for most people is the fact that the manga actually has its own plot. Okay, not really its own, but better said, it goes way longer. And that's also putting it a bit simply. Thing is, the anime didn't adapt everything of the manga and just stopped before it was finished or something, but it changed up the events like around episode 30 something. I'm just gonna put it in the edit. Manga basically is twice as long, in some ways maybe in 3 times. I mean, it depends how it comes. One of the things that maybe some would call flaws is that it gets a bit long in certain parts, so it doesn't feel that many things happen. But the plot and the chapters count just bloats. Well, actually, the manga, everybody agrees, is much better than the anime. How could the consensus be wrong? That never happens in history. Sun and Earth? Oh no, that's nothing important, but the manga, just a thing. Probably most people that didn't get their fix for Soul Eater should read. Maybe. Excalibur. If you were around the internet in 2010 or something, you probably have seen this face. Or this face, or this thing. I mean, Excalibur in a way is a character that transcends the franchise as a whole. In many ways it's funny because the whole joke is that he's kinda annoying and self-important, and the show itself, the world itself hates it, and the rage that he brings is actually a plot point, but that's for later. Still, I think it's just a testament to how iconic this character was, how he just influenced people all around. That he really is the legend. Never could hate him, and he's just so likable in a way. Maybe just the contrast between the, the usual anime, let's call it humor, And just having him, like, just watch the filler episode Excalibur, it was just really funny, man, when the guy was just shaking. Bunny moon foreshadowing? This entry may sound weird to you. Even after I explain it, you will probably say, yeah, why is that so high up compared to the other things? Let's just say, it just makes sense. It is about the moon in the end. But in another way, it is very obvious and very surface level. In the manga, you can see how the whole bunny imagery comes up many times and how it leads to the ending. Especially when you look at interviews where Okubo claims he always wanted to have the story of the manga end on the moon. And I believe him, there is even more evidence that we will get into later. The whole thing with the little one in the manga, being a rabbit. Yeah, we're gonna go into that later too. The whole Japanese myth of the moon princess. That we also have a character named that later. Even if it's a very bad character. But I mean, it's just not subtle. But in the end, it doesn't need to be subtle, it just needs to go back to the beginning and to the end. So, in a way, this is the perfect ending for this layer, for the obvious stuff. Maybe just don't see it yet, but when we go through the madness, it will all be clear.